All right, so this is my last blog post video. Well, actually, I have one more, but it's the last week assignment. We're going into dead week here, and this week's assignment basically is just to talk a little bit about how did the social media aspect of the class go for you. And for me, my answer to that, let me fix this. My answer to that is that I think it went really great. The interesting thing about doing a video that's between 2 and 3 minutes, is we're talking about very complex patent litigation cases that involve a lot of parties from institutions of higher education, big universities, individual inventors, investors, venture capital firms, big multinational corporations, and smaller non-practicing entities such as patent trolls. And I have to take all that information, synthesize each perspective from each party, what they're arguing, who's arguing what, and then on top of that, you have to basically dumb it down, not necessarily dumb it down, but really focus on what the core aspects are, what the key moving pieces to the puzzle are, and then explain that in a way that you can communicate over a video like I'm doing right now in 2 to 3 minutes. And it's really difficult. Sometimes shorter is harder. I do think, though, that there's a certain drawback to this method of sort of learning and communicating information, and that drawback is that you don't always get to dive really deep. And I think the best way to learn, especially when things are very complicated, a lot of moving pieces, is to really understand the core aspect to almost all the parties involved. And so when you really dive down and get the nitty gritty, then after all that, you can sort of like dumb it down. But when you have that 2 to 3 minute period, it's really easy just to focus on the big ideas and present the big ideas. So, I mentioned this in my write up, but I think the thing that's really important that may be a cool thing to try for next semester is, putting people in groups and having each person do 2 to 3 bits, but having 2 to 3 bits to focus on a particular aspect of the entire picture. And then you can have a group that is like, let's say, a 10-minute presentation, even though each person has their own 2 to 3 minute segment. And that could be like a potentially really interesting thing that, because it dives more into detail, it opens up more doors for conversations. But so far, I really liked the social media aspect of this class, and I would definitely recommend it to a friend.